Joining me is a very special guest, Lucila Diaz. She's a successful interior designer. She's a principal of Harmony Sense Interiors Limited, and she's here to talk about her passion for interior design and share some wellness space tips and how she maintains a healthy lifestyle. Welcome to the show, Lucila.
Thank you so much, Christine, for having me.
So how are you?
I'm very excited to be here. Thank you so much, and very good.
I'm excited because this is such a timely topic, or always, I should say, about interior design. And when did your interest start for, wanting to become an interior designer?
Well, I think it started since I was a little girl, but actually without knowing it.
Oh.
Because when I was little, every time I went into a space of someone, I wanted to rearrange it or move things around. But because I have a right and left kind of brain, I'm good with numbers. So I ended up doing a bachelor's degree in math and statistics. So the logic part of my brain won that battle in the first stage of my life. So I didn't really start doing design until I moved into Canada almost 20 years ago. That's when really my passion for design started, and I was able to really do it.
Yeah, so you had that natural flair.
I guess so, yes.
And so tell us about your first project.
So I think that my first project I can tell was my own home when I came here into Canada. And it was when I realized that maybe I had a good sense for it. And it was just before starting my master's degree. That's the reason I moved here into Canada. And I had 2 weeks before classes started. And I didn't have a big budget, so I told my husband, okay, I'm gonna go to IKEA to get what I can. And in just 2 weeks, I completely did my home. And then classes started, and when people came to my home, they said, well, how long have you been living here? I said, well, we just moved. Then it's when maybe I realized that I have a flair, or that I could do this without any effort.
Yeah.
But then I had to do my master's degree, and that little thing inside my brain stayed with me, saying, well, maybe this is something that I can do for a living, because it's something that I can do without any effort, and I enjoy it. And then it's when I pressed the reset button in all my career that I have before in math and statistics and business, and I went back to school and then started my career. But I will say that was my first official project.
Wow. And you have such a passion for it. So you are the principal of Harmony Sense Interiors Limited. So how did that come about?
So after I decided to press the reset button and go back to school, I realized that I had to start from scratch, because it was a completely new career for me. I was doing marketing research in my former life, numbers, and I went back to school. I went to very humbling experiences, starting to work just in a furniture store, learning from scratch this new profession. And then I decided to become a mom. And I didn't realize that in order to get good daycare, you need to apply 2 years before you even decide to conceive, to have a kid. So because I didn't have daycare, I decided to stay home with my kid. And then it was a time for me then to rethink of what I wanted to do with my career moving forward. And I said, well, maybe I can take my entrepreneurship notes from my MBA and start a business in what I really have a passion for. So almost 13 years ago, I decided to start my business, and little by little, through referrals, through people that knew me, I started Harmony Sense Interiors. And And the reason why I started the company, yes, of course, I wanted to have my own business, but I just wanted to create spaces that would allow people to have a better life. Just spaces that will allow people to become better persons, spaces that will become the vehicle that will allow this.
Yes, and you can follow a healthy lifestyle, and you can come into, after a run and take your running shoes off, but your place may be cluttered. So, that's still, we would need to improve that, and that's where you come in. You can give us some tips on some wellness or, spaces, and what would be the first step?
So, of course, your space, it's a reflection of who you are and who you want to become. So they're very simple things that you can do. So of course, like a cluttered space will not allow you to even be creative. It says that if you don't have like a clean desk, an organized desk, you cannot be as creative or as productive as you want, right? There are other things that you can do in your home. For example, you can have plants in your house. They're not only beautiful, they also allow you to decorate and bring life into a space, but as well they help clean the air. Wow. So that's like a very simple thing that you can do. We're just mentioning the decluttering. So instead of bringing things, taking out things, and just keeping things that give you good memories. That when you look at them, they will create and spark that good memory, and as well have an organized space, right? You mentioned, you come into your home and there's like a place to put things. Yes. You just don't come home to a pile of like shoes. There are other things that we can do as well to bring wellness into our home. And this has to do when we're bringing things, we have to think about the function and the comfort of these items. Of course, they have to look pretty, but first we need to think, okay, what this space needs, it's something that it's going to function for the objective of the room, and that it's going to be comfortable. And this goes for items that you're going to be using all the time. Think about your chair where you're going to be sitting working, about the dining room chairs, items that you're going to be using a lot of the time. One of the most important pieces is your mattress. Think about the number of hours we spend on it. We spend a third of our lives on it. It's so important to spend good money on it. And this brings me to having good sleeping habits. So it's not only your mattress, it's what we surround ourselves with. Electronics. I have 2 teenage kids. So it's been a battle in our house, and now a rule that no electronics stays in the room. Plug your phone outside your room, right? So that allows you not to have like the blue light in your face just before going to bed. So creating those habits are very important as well to have like a wellness state of mind. Talking about light, like the blue light is bad, but the sunlight is very good. So allowing light coming to your house. When we're designing houses, it's very important to know which light your home will be receiving. So if you will have like north or south facing light, where your windows will be. And for people that are now interested in passive houses or energy efficient ones, this is crucial because it allows to monitor or define how much light will come in. And in the winter days where we don't have a lot of light, allow as much light as possible to come in. So open the windows. There are other tips as well that have to do with using all the senses. So smell, textures in furniture, and color. Color is so important. So it's very well known that color affects us. It's been well researched that, for example, whites and creams are relaxing. For example, red is stimulating.
Yes.
Yes. Orange wants to make you eat, for example.
Oh, really? So
Yes.
Okay.
Yellow, it's energizing. Green, it's more calming. Blue is cooling. But color affects people in different ways. And color just brings joy to people's life. So an injection of color, it's always beneficial. So exploring with each client or each person how color will affect them will as well make the space work in their benefit. So don't be afraid of color. And Vancouver is a special place where people are a little bit afraid of color. So don't be it. Like, color will bring life to your life. So many other things that can be done.
What about the kitchen?
So kitchen as well, it's an important place because we spend a lot of time in it. So having a place where the family can join, where meals can be prepped, where things can be organized, it's important as well. So there are many other things that could be done in the space.
Yeah, so what is next for you?
So for me, I have been blessed with helping design not only homes in the last year, but many other different venues. As I mentioned to you, my mission is to create spaces that will just help people spark the potential that they have. And we have been designing schools, retail stores, and recently we've been involved now to help and design the stage for a TEDx talk that will happen next year. So that as well, it's a space as well. And we just want to create a space as well that when the people speaking on it will just feel enhanced and with the potential to deliver a better talk.
That's
Right?
wonderful.
So it's just creating spaces that become a vehicle for people to be better. That's our mission, regardless of what it is. If it's like a restaurant, a school, a home, a stage,
You do everything.
whatever it is.
Yes. it's
Yeah,
one-
but that's our mission. Like, it doesn't just have to be a kitchen and that's it. We just design spaces to help people have better lives.
And you're doing it.
Yes.
You know, you're creating, inspiring others. And now people watching the show and they're listening to you and they go, well, where do I start?
Yeah. So starting with a plan is the most important thing because people exactly don't know where to start. And just as when you're building a home, you need to have a solid foundation. If not, everything will come down. You just need to start with a solid foundation and asking yourself or the people that you're working with 4 basic questions. The first one is why you are doing what you're doing in terms of the space that you want to work with, why you're doing this renovation, why you are decorating this home, why you want to create this stage. Be clear on why is your goal, why is the reason that you're doing this, because it's very important never to lose that objective as the project goes by. The next one is what's the level of investment that you feel comfortable with, because that will create the parameters to then see what's doable and what's not. The next one is your timelines. Be clear on what your timelines. Like, I need to have this ready by this day because I'm entertaining and I'm having this big party. Or I want to sell this house by this day because if I don't sell it, I don't get into the new one. Or I need to have this kitchen renovated by this day because if not, I won't be able to achieve this other goal. So be very clear what your timelines are. And the last one is know the potential and the limits of the space that you're working with. Do you have a strata that you need to work with? How big you can expand your space? Are you working with concrete floors? Once you know all those limitations and the people that you're working with knows them, then you can create a solid plan and a solid foundation to then create and be creative with.
Wow.
And you then go from there. But know that and have that open conversations with the people that are helping you create that.
I'd love you to come back on the show.
Yes.
And I wanted to thank you very much.